Okay, day 1 of our field study. So for our field study, we're gonna write on one of these boats. Like 6:20. So good.
I swim, but I haven't yet.
This is Grace.
No, not here. I just discovered.
Ni hao.
But it's nice.
Leo.
Mainly swimming. I used to play.
Derek. Yay. And you know, Maxi.
Everyone has a
Commas. Okay, hold on. Glare.
what?
There you go. Better. Do you want to introduce what we're doing, Maxi?
What are we doing now? Oh, we're in a ferry or something. On a ferry, and we're going to a Buddhist temple. We're going to learn how the state interacts with religion.
Do you think we'll find it?
Sorry?
We want to find the monk's master and talking about something about the good things, the important things.
Oh.
The important politics.
Politics.
We don't talk the politics.
Oh, we don't talk politics.
Just talk about the religions.
Okay, just religions, no politics.
Just politics, no religion.
To look into the relationship between state and religion in China, we visit religions of 4 of the 5 major religions proposed by the government. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to talk to a Muslim representative.
The first temple we visited was Liurong Gushi in Guangzhou, where we talked to Master, and the Master's name is Kai Tong Fa Shi.
Buddhism also falls under the jurisdiction of the government. When they have important activities around religion, the temple has to ask the government for permission. They have to provide information for religious development, such as instruction of cultural, moral benevolence amongst the believers. The main goal of religion, according to the government, is to keep harmony within the country. When asked about government funding, the master said the government gives little and most money comes from the believers. The believers give 60% and the government gives 40% of the money. Most of the money is used to develop temples and relocate houses in order to expand the temple, as well as upkeep of the temple. They also have a representative in the government, and the main role of this person is to serve as a liaison between government and the temple. When the master was asked if the temple can communicate with the outside world, he said that they can have communication to the outside world with permission from the government. He stressed the state comes first, and they must let government know what they are doing. As citizens, we have to go with the law first, and we cannot go against the law and must abide, as the master said. Historical relationships between government and religion was described as there were 3 periods of betrayal, and the last one was during the Cultural Revolution of China, when all religions were betrayed.
And we visited 2 different Taoist temples, Zhenhuan Miao and Huanglong Guan.
So, the Taoists reported that the government didn't really interfere with their affairs, but they did need to report where they got their funding from, and they also needed to apply if they wanted to have an event with other temples. But for day-to-day activities within their own temple, they didn't really interact with the government. They also talked about a religious association, which acted as the go-between for government and religion. And the head of each religion in each province has to go to a meeting for this association, which is part of the Religious Bureau, which is the government organization that oversees religion. And they also talked about how religious believers and religious authorities are involved in government organizations. There are 2 government organizations that they're involved in. The first is the Political Consulting Congress, and the second is the People's Conference. the last thing that they told us is that overall, the relationship between religion and government is getting a lot better.
After, we also visited the Dongshan Protestant Church in Guangzhou and spoke to the manager of the church.
滋养啊，滋养。
我们都是按照信徒的1/10奉献。
We first came to find that this Protestant church has a sister church in California that helped found them in 1901 and sponsors them now. The government is open to religions, but these religions cannot interfere with the runnings of the government, and it can't have its followers rebel against the government in any way. As far as money is concerned, the church encourages its parishioners to tithe, which is to give 10% of their earnings to the church. They also get donations from their sister church and other Protestant churches in Hong Kong. The church doesn't have to pay a tax to the government. Another thing we came to find is that there's more native believers in this church than the Catholic Church, and that may be why there's less government interference with the Protestants as opposed to the Catholics. The priests, similar to the Catholic Church, is native, but sometimes the guest preacher from the sister church comes to preach.
Some members attended Sunday Mass at Shenzhen Catholic Cathedral and spoke to the Father Manor afterwards. Later, we visited the church again and spoke with Father Peter.
Father Peter explained that the government gathers information about the church through the association, but the church never knows what information is being gathered from them, actually. Also, in relation to donations, the religious associations have to give donations to the government in different quantity depending what religion it is, and that shows also the differences in treatment from the government to the different religions. There's a preference towards Buddhism that's been the major religion for the most time. Regarding international relations, Father Maynard explained that the relationship with Rome is kind of complicated because although Rome recognizes bishops in China, they are not allowed to visit Rome because the government does not recognize the power of Rome over the country's territory.
There are 5 religions approved by the Chinese government. They are Catholicism, Protestantism, Buddhism, Taoism, and Islam. Chinese citizens have the right to choose freely between these 5 options or to be a non-believer. These 5 religions are mostly independent in their day-to-day activities, although they must report to the government and any international relationships are regulated carefully.
This research has shown that the government in China respects religion because it helps maintain harmony in society. However, because the government is based on Marxist principles, they emphasize protecting non-believers in their constitution and expect that religion will eventually die out.
So pretty, so smart, such a waste of a young heart. What a pity, what a shame, what's the matter with you, man? Don't you see it's wrong? Can't you get it right? Out of mind and out of sight. Call on all your girls, don't forget the boys. Put a little